I'm Mohammed here, live from Regent Park TV. We're here at the Aquatic Centre that was just renamed after late City Councillor Pam McConnell. For the better part of a decade, the Regent Park Aquatic Centre has been a staple in the community. This past week, it was officially renamed the Pam McConnell Aquatic Centre after late City Councillor Pam McConnell. She was there for its opening and is largely credited by many as one of the driving forces behind not only the construction of the pool, but the redevelopment of Regent Park.
Thank you very much, everyone, for your attention, and thank you very much for your attendance today. I'm especially pleased to be here. This is a very special day for us in the community. My name is Krystin Wong, the City Councillor for Toronto Centre Ward 13. I just want to officially, number one, welcome all of you back to Regent Park. Many of you already know the neighborhood. For those who are coming out for the first time, you are in for a treat. This is one of the most dynamic and special neighborhoods in the entire city. I'd like to begin the Pam McConnell Aquatic Centre renaming ceremony by acknowledging the land that we are gathered on. We are gathered on the traditional territories of many nations, including the Mississaugas of the Credit, the Anishinaabe, the Chippewa, the Haudenosaunee, and the Wendat peoples. Toronto now is home to many diverse First Nations, Inuit, and Métis peoples. We also acknowledge that Toronto is covered by Treaty 13 with the Mississaugas of the Credit. We acknowledge the land of before all the proceedings at the City of Toronto because we're on a journey together towards truth and reconciliation. And I recognize that this journey is very long. It is going to be multi-generational because it's actually very important that we don't stop the work today or tomorrow or the year ahead, but that we embody this in everything we do at the city. And I know that Deputy Mayor McConnell would have wanted us to think about the space that we are gathered in, especially in one of her favorite neighborhoods in the city. I'd like to begin by welcoming all of you, and I know that many of you hold Pam McConnell very dear in your heart. I want to say a special welcome to the family because it's important that you are here, and I know that this is a very special occasion for you and especially for the grandkids. Pam loved this community center. She loved this community. She loved all of you, and she worked with many of you in personal ways, and I know that that was important. There are a number of dignitaries who are here, and I just want to say thank you for those who are in attendance. I know the mayor is going to acknowledge you as well, but I see my own MPP, Suze Morrison, who's taken some time to be here, so thank you, Suze. We see Councillor, thank you. We also see Deputy Mayor Anna Bailao, Councillor Layton, Councillor Cressy, Councillor Fletcher, who will be here shortly, and Councillor Brad Bradford. And I don't think we could actually go any further without acknowledging Barbara Hall, former Mayor of the City of Toronto. So welcome all of you. And I would now like to welcome Mayor Tory to the podium, a big champion of our community, someone who has had a lot of time working with Deputy Mayor McConnell, Pam, our dear friend and beloved, and he would like to share a few words with you. So thank you.
Well, Krystin, Councillor Wong Tam, thank you very much. And I will only reintroduce all of my colleagues and a couple of other people who are here just to show my respect and my appreciation for the fact that they are here. And I want to thank Deputy Mayor Bailao, Councillors Layton and Cressy and Bradford and Fletcher, who will be here momentarily, for being here. And I know they represent the wish on the part of all the members of council, certainly all those who served with Deputy Mayor, Councillor Pam McConnell, but I think all the members of council who I think, if they're new, they've come nonetheless to recognize the very kind of special contribution that she made and the very kind of special person that she was. And the same is true, I'm sure, of Suze Morrison. And I want to acknowledge somewhere, I heard that she was here, I think she's officially retired. I don't know how we allowed that to happen, but our former deputy city manager, Juliana Carboni, who I know would have worked there she is back there, worked with Deputy Mayor McConnell. And she's part of, again, there are quite a few public servants who are here. And, you know, I know as Barbara Hall, my friend and councillor in person that I met on the first day of law school, and we happened to sit next to each other. It's funny how fate has things unfold after that. It's just by chance we sat next to each other. But she's been a very source of great wise counsel and continued love for the City of Toronto. And she will join me in saying that when you have been the mayor, you come to understand the incredible importance, not just of colleagues you work closely with that are elected with you, but also public servants. I mean, public servants, what they do for this city and what they have done during this pandemic is so extraordinary, I cannot describe it to you. in terms of the lives that have been saved and the people that have been made more comfortable and all of that. Did I mention your Councillor Craig did? Okay, because Joe has been a great leader at the Board of Health as well. And, you know, I'm happy the councillors are here too, because we have our differences from time to time. I saw some article in the paper the other day that said we'd voted together on a pretty high percentage of things, and I figured that was on motions for adjournment or something like that. But you know, the fact is, and that's really why I take such pleasure in being here today. The fact is, we work together a lot more than people would think from what they see on television. You know, what you see on television in many respects, as you know, is not always exactly what happens. But that was true of the relationship I had with Deputy Mayor Pam McConnell. In fact, you know, I was the one that asked her to be a deputy mayor, and at the time people, and don't misunderstand this comment, especially Heather Ann and the family, they said, well, that was kind of an odd bedfellows that I would ask her to be a deputy mayor. But I asked her to be a deputy mayor just because I had such respect for her, and I'd come to know her over the years, as many had, as a person who was a talk show host and when I was in business and so forth. And I knew it was important that I had somebody that I sat with a lot of the time that served as a conscience for me and for the administration that I led, in terms of issues especially, but not limited to our activism with respect to the reduction of poverty. And I will just I should tell you that when I called, I made a mistake, as I'm sure you've all done, over time with time zones. And she was in China at the time on a Federation of Canadian Municipalities conference of some kind. And I think I screwed up what time it was when I called. And Jim answered the phone. It was not a happy answering of the phone. And I didn't have any time to explain because he was very gruff, to be honest. And look, I know we all have that experience. We wake up in the middle of the night, the phone rings, and you never think it's good news. And I was actually calling to ask Pam if she would be the deputy mayor, and so it turned out to be a happy phone call. But I'll just apologize again for that, and just say to Heather Ann and to Madeline and to the kids that are here, I hope they benefited as much in terms of the recognition that was extended to their mom and grandmother and wife as I did from the fact that she served in that capacity. We have things in the City of Toronto today. You know, the first ever fare pass for transit that gives a discount to tens of thousands of people who are lower income Torontonians, and other things I could name, substantial enhancements to the student nutrition program, and I could go on a long list that would not be there. I mean, the whole council approved them, we found the money and all that, but Pam McConnell was the one that just kept pushing and pushing and meeting, frankly, with people with lived experience to make sure that we did what was the right thing for us to do. I'm sorry to the family that it's taken this long. I kept getting progress reports on this particular sign, this wonderful sign that I think was worth the wait. Sorry it's taken so long to do this, but I think it's worth the wait in the context of us being able to be here on a beautiful day when the pandemic seems to be in recession, and that we can honor her legacy and the special work she did to help, not confined by any means to Regent Park, but especially in Regent Park. I think it's fair to say that, you know, while there are many people that have contributed to the revitalization of Regent Park, which should be a source of great pride to Torontonians. You know, I had the mayor of Chicago come here. She's a wonderful person who came up here, her first visit outside of the country when she got elected mayor. And she came and we brought her here because this is what she wanted to see. And I can just tell you how proud I was. And I had less to do with it than many others, including Barbara Hall and others that preceded me. But I was so proud of the fact that they thought this was such an incredible overall project, and what it did and what it stood for, and what we were able to show her, the brand new TCHC building just over there. And I would just say that this would not have happened. And, you know, I remember as a talk show, there was some controversy raised by people who called into question what we were doing with Regent Park, and I defended her with gusto, because that's what she deserved as one of the mothers of the Regent Park revitalization. I just want you to know that this thing that's so special, not finished yet, but in progress, would not have happened if it wasn't for her and many other people. She had an incredible political background, and you didn't mess with her in that regard either. I think she was gonna, you know, if it hadn't been for health concerns, I think she was one of those people that would have been serving forever, and not serving forever in terms of overstaying her welcome, serving forever because the people wanted her to be there. And I saw it when I was over here with her. I saw the relationship she had, you know, with people. It's the kind of thing that any elected person would want to emulate in any way that they possibly could. It was a genuine, warm caring on both sides. I mean, the people felt that way about her, and she felt that way about the people. And isn't that what it's all about, really? that we feel that kind of relationship with the people that we serve. I won't go through what's in these very nice notes about all the committees she served on, but I guess suffice it to say that when she served on the Affordable Housing Committee or any of those kinds of things, it always made a difference. It always made a difference. And one of the reasons that I was comfortable in asking her to be a deputy mayor was because I knew that much as she would come into a room oftentimes and give me the dickens about something that we weren't doing fast enough or weren't doing at all, you also could work with her. What was that expression she had about building a bridge to the island or finding an island? I mean, her whole ethos as a councillor was to find a way you could work together with people who seemed to be at odds with you and then get something done. And in the end, you come to realize the longer you have any of the jobs we all have, that's what it's all about, is getting something done. I mean, you can have all the debates you want, but if you can't get anything done, it doesn't matter. She, beyond that, of course, had huge advocacy for social justice and for women. And I was so proud of the fact that we were able to, with the presence of Heather Ann and Madeline, I think we were able to announce the creation of the Pam McConnell. Well, there's a Pam McConnell Award at the FCM, but there's also a Pam McConnell Young Women in Leadership Award created by the city to respect and acknowledge the leadership of young women in the City of Toronto Public Service and in the city at large. So here we are, based on a decision made by the City Council in 2018, and as a way to highlight all of these outstanding contributions and many more, just for who she was as a person and as a human being, aside from her experience in politics, to inaugurate the new name for the Aquatic Centre in Regent Park. And that is one of the proudest parts of this revitalization. We just didn't build new buildings and make it a true mixed income community and make sure that it had street life and a grocery store and banks, the things you take for granted that just weren't in this community before. But it has probably the best recreational and other kinds of facilities anywhere in the city. And that's the way it should be. It's one of the great mysteries to me as mayor that we had a long, long time where I think there's sort of a waiting list. And if you're on the waiting list, even though you may not have the greatest need, you just got the new facility. And I think we're trying to sort of find ways to change that, because you have to be fair to all the neighborhoods in the city. But she worked really hard to make sure this was a great place to live. Beyond everything we did with the new buildings. And the Aquatic Centre was just reopened for indoor swim this past Wednesday, so maybe that's why we waited until now to do this reopening or this commemoration. It has 3 pools, it has a 25-meter lap pool, it has universal change rooms, it has certain measures that are designed to respect the cultural sensitivities of people who live in this community. And this commemoration will also include artwork and a bench which will be installed next year, so that all of these things hopefully can tell people a little bit. And I hope maybe we can use some technology so people can come up and hold their phone up and read the story of Pam McConnell, because that's a story worth reading. I will just conclude by saying thank you to the very same city staff that I paid tribute to earlier on in a very particular way, because if it weren't for those people who sort of follow these files through and address the issues that come up with the signs and all those kinds of things, they would never get done. And so it is with great pleasure I will step forward, and I want to make sure that some of my colleagues come, because I suggested I was to do it in these notes alone, but we're going to pull down the covering to reveal the new sign, and it is with great pleasure that I formally confirm the official renaming of this facility as the Pam McConnell Aquatic Centre. It's something we can be very proud of.
The city held a ceremony for the official renaming, and for residents and community leaders, it was also a time of reflection on their personal histories and relationships with the late councillor.
So, of course, now we'd like to welcome Heather Ann McConnell, daughter of Deputy Mayor, friend Pam McConnell, to say a few words. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you all for coming today on this beautiful day. We finally got some lovely weather. I'd like to first take this opportunity to thank the mayor and members of council for this great honor. What an amazing tribute to my mother and to her work. And to see this sign, as beautiful as it is, and without the Dundas Street address, is quite remarkable and beautiful. So thank you all. I'd also like to take this opportunity to thank the members of city staff who obviously did the work to implement this work and the name change. I know that this is a lot of work, both to put on the event, but also to do the actual work of the renaming. And so I want to thank you for that. You know, for us, it is an especially proud moment that that we are renaming this aquatic center after my mother in Regent Park, which was really her community and her pride and joy. Regent Park is where my mother's heart was. We're also honored to have her name on what I believe is a center of equality within this community. And equality was one of my mother's, biggest projects in life. We need to ensure that this building and the programs that happen here continue to have that legacy of that equality, and ensure that the programs continue to run in the manner in which she would have wanted them to. This is a building that recognizes Muslim women's experience and the experience of women who have experienced trauma. This is a safe space where they can come and swim without having to be surrounded by men. This is a very unique thing that we have here that we need to spread throughout our community, that recognizes those experiences, those lived experiences, and ensures that those women are included in the programs. This is a space where members of our trans community can come and swim without the exhausting peering that sometimes happens and the policing of their bodies. And we need to ensure that that continues after this pandemic and forever, and that that is expanded and throughout the city and in other places, so that those folks can feel represented and included in their programming. Where seniors from all over the world can come and share in space in their conversation pool. Where local school children can take swimming lessons without the bureaucracy of the city portal, which I know that Krystin has worked very hard to ensure happens. Where our artistic children come and have programming. And where, most importantly, everyone can access free, accessible swimming without the bureaucracy of having to prove special need or income level, or without any red tape. Those are the things that I hope that we can continue to remember as part of her legacy and ensure continues to be part of the programming here. These are the programs that Mom advocated for, and we need to ensure that those programs are preserved and expanded. Given the moment that we are living in, I also implore Councillor Wong Tam and her colleagues and our community and others to work with Council Fire and other Indigenous leaders, including with Sue's, to ensure that this space is also accessible and meets the needs of our Indigenous communities. Equity is like a living tree. It can always be improved. Programs can always be improved. And I implore everybody in the community, all of our politicians, all of our staff, to continue to view this through an equity lens and to continue to ensure that this building, this space, these programs really live up to the legacy of my mother, which was really all about equity and diversity and ensuring inclusion. I also would never be permitted by my mother to take a microphone without also advocating for one more piece. There was always one more piece that was really important to her. And I will just remind everybody that, as Mayor Tory said, Regent Park isn't complete. And yes, we have a beautiful community center, we have a beautiful aquatic center, we have beautiful parks, but we do not yet have a library. And we need to ensure that the last phases of Regent Park include the building of a first-class library, like Mayor Hall and others ensured we had in St. Jamestown. On that, I would just like to encourage artists and others to participate in the process of putting in for the statue that's also going to be unveiled. Hopefully next summer, which I believe is going to be in and around where you all are standing. And so I'm really excited about this process. I really hope that some of our most diverse artists are artists from this community and artists from across Toronto and the province put in bids for that piece. It is a great honor to have a statue be in the process. And I have to say, in the beginning of this process, I sort of thought a statue, like my mother would just be appalled. And my husband Donovan actually said to me, that there are not enough statues of women in this city. And he said to me, whether or not your mother might have been a little bit uncomfortable with that, the fact that women don't like to have that sort of recognition isn't enough of a reason not to do it. So I really hope that people will engage in that process and participate. And I really look forward to hopefully gathering again with all of you and perhaps even with more members of the community next year for that unveiling. So again, thank you all for coming and thank you for this amazing honor. And let's continue to work on it. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Heather Ann. Thank you for sharing those remarkable memories with all of us. And thank you for I think, also encapsulating in words the extraordinary legacy that your mom left behind. And even then, it was only a snapshot, a little bit of what we know that Pam had accomplished during her time in government. I think Heather Ann is absolutely correct. And, the reminder that Regent Park is not complete as a community is with the buildings anyways. The community itself is very much whole and complete. But the buildings that create the space and allow for community gatherings, for community celebrations, learning, knowledge development, and for friendship is not complete. And she's absolutely right. And actually, you remind me of a conversation we had in 2018 when the ward boundaries got redrawn and everything was confusing. And the conversation with Jim, with Heather Ann, was about making sure that Regent Park was going to be complete. And that was a commitment I made to you and to Jim and the family about making sure that the library was going to be built, and now the new multi-faith Islamic Center will also be built. So we have a lot of work to do still, and I know that this is not work that's done by the city alone, but by the community, and we make that commitment to you. I know every single one of us on City Council will honor that commitment. So let's remember Pam as a councillor, as a deputy mayor, as a friend, as a mentor, as a mom, as a wife, as a grandmother. And let's work tirelessly for the residents of this community and who was also instrumental in the development of the community. So I want to recognize all the community leaders who are here today, each and every single one of you, for sharing your conversations and your aspirations and visions with us. Officially naming this aquatic center in Pam McConnell's honor. And thank you for the recognition of the commemorative art installation to come. It will be a place, a sense of arrival, a destination, not just for the community, but I hope for the entire city. The city is currently developing, as you've already heard from Heather Ann, proposals for a 3-dimensional sculpture, a lifelike sculpture of Pam McConnell, one that commemorates the outstanding contributions that she made to the community and to all of the City of Toronto. And as Mayor Tory said, and as Heather Ann reiterated, the artwork and bench will be installed next summer. So I want to thank all of you for coming here today, and I want to thank the city staff for all the hard work that you did in pulling this off. I know that this is on top of everything else you're doing to advocate and push beyond the pandemic, and also to thank the the community for spreading the word. I know that each and every single one of you know artists, so please get the word out. Nothing would please Pam more than having an artist from this community work on that art project, and I think you know that as well. And it will be very exciting when we come together in 2022 as we unveil the statue and then raise a glass in her honor, because at that point in time, we're going to have a catered lunch and hopefully hundreds and hundreds of people, because the pandemic will be way behind us. I'll look forward to seeing you all then. Take care. Thank you.
Please do not forget to like, comment, and share to our channel. Follow us on all our social media platforms. And for more information, please check out our website.